Hey, what is up, guys, and welcome back to the FC's football channel. And Manchester United and Chelsea have drawn 1-1 at Old Trafford. And I mean, what do we all make of that game? I think going into that game, I think a lot of us would have taken a draw, and that's exactly what we've got. Matic is saying we played a very good game that tactically is almost perfect. And I thought we did. I mean, I think Matic is right there. I think Chelsea are such a good team, and we kept them somewhat quiet. I mean, they missed some chances, but I don't think there's many. There was loads of saves on occasion where you look at David De Gea and thought, "My God, what a world class save!" Which is a nice change. Now there were some, but I think on the whole, a lot of players, I think, played fairly well. I just think sometimes the quality isn't quite there. And I think it's kind of the same players that we know aren't good enough are the ones that are disappointing. Bruno was disappointing. I think McTominay was great. Wasn't great. Wasn't awful, McTominay, today, but I think he was great. Rashford was dreadful. Elanga just isn't good enough. I just think it's a weird one because, again, I think, look, I thought it was a good performance against Arsenal, and then we just, due to individual mistakes, we let ourselves down. We lost that game. And in this game, it was a completely different performance from United. This game, it was all about kind of nullifying Chelsea and stopping them. And if we can get anything out of ourselves, well, that's a positive. And I think that was clear in the performance, in how we played. A low block and counter-attacking. That's kind of how we look to play. Look, on another day, could we have lost that game? Maybe. But I think there's chances there that we could have won the game as well. I think, again, I think it's another performance you can look at and not be very, very disappointed. A performance, especially the second half, more so, to build on. I'm sorry, I'm just keeping an eye on the West Ham game at the moment. Look, I mean, should we look at the league table quickly? I'm not quite sure what the table is looking like, but look over to there. So this is the current Premier League table. So right now we're now 3 points above West Ham. We played an extra game, yes. West Ham win that game in hand. They do go above us, and that will take us down to conference level. But West Ham have Arsenal to go play. They have Norwich, Man City, and Brighton. You'd back us to get at least one more point. You'd back Arsenal to beat West Ham, Man City to beat West Ham. Yet you'd say West Ham versus Norwich. Let's say Norwich will win that game. West Ham have hit the bar. Bowen with a bicycle kick off the top of the bar and under trap to keep him out. My God, that was close for West Ham. But let's say West Ham get, what? We'll say 6 points. We'll say West Ham gets 6 points. That will put them 3 points above us, having played all their games. You look at us. If you say West Ham can beat Brighton, I'd say we should beat Brighton. Brentford, we should win. And then Palace. Should we beat them? Probably yes. We should win all the rest of our games. And if we do that, we'll get 6th place. At least. I think I think we might even compete for 5th with that. But look, I mean, I think next season is, and that's kind of what we have to look at this point. I think I'm a little bit worried, to be honest. I think Nemanja Matic and Juan Mata, both players who, I know Mata hasn't officially confirmed he's leaving, but he's going to leave. Matic is leaving. And those two today, fantastic. And our best players today, De Gea might not be here next season. Matic, Mata, most of them probably won't be here next season. And they're our best players. Ronaldo might not even be here next season. Our best players today. It's really confusing. And it's not even just about ability. It's about effort levels. And I think some of these older players know what it means to play for Manchester United. I don't know if it's because when they were growing up and during their... And for most of their career, Manchester United were this massive team. A team that every player wanted to grow up and play for. And now they're not. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But players like Marcus Rashford, who is a Manchester United fan, has been ever since he was born, aren't putting in as much effort in as a Juan Mata is. How is that happening? I think for a lot of players, a game like this is easy to look good in. It really is. Because against Chelsea, who are better than us, we don't expect massively for players to look amazing, go score 2 goals or whatever. What we expect is the bare minimum. The same reason why against Liverpool, when Hannibal came on, was he amazing? No, he wasn't. But he showed he cared. He grafted and he worked hard and he got the applause for it. How is Marcus Rashford not even able to get that? It's embarrassing for him. Look, if we go into player rating, David De Gea, their goal, it was a great finish. Nothing he could do about it. I think overall De Gea had a good game. I'll give him a 7. Diego Dalot, I thought he had quite a good game as well. Alonso, obviously the goal scorer. I don't think he's at fault for the goal. I think overall Dalot played well. 6 or a 7. I'll give him a 6.5. Lindelof, 7. I'll give them both 7s. And Telles, 5 or 6. 6. I think the whole back four were all right. It was one of those games. I mean, Telles, he was dreadful. Really, really was dreadful against... What's his name? Against Arsenal. Bukayo Saka had him all day long. Today against Reece James. He struggled against James. But I thought... It couldn't have been worse against Saka, could it? And I think... Look, Reece James is Marcus Rashford's man for most of that game. And Rashford's been dreadful. So I can't really put loads of blame at the door of Alex Telles. He wasn't dreadful. I don't think he was amazing. An average 6. Matic, 7. Got the assist. I thought he played well, and he's one of our best players and most valuable players, and he's most valued player, and he's leaving at the end of this season, and we're gonna miss him. How are we gonna replace him? I think we need to replace him. Whether or not we do or not, I don't know. I have faith in Erik ten Hag to want to replace him, but whether the board or not will, because we've got players like a McTominay, who's, I think most of the board looks at and thinks he's the next best thing. He's the next Michael Carrick, because they know nothing about football. McTominay, I thought he was poor today. Again, And look, I said at the start of the watch along, who was it? I think was it Luke's said, at least McTominay will put a challenge in. We'll get stuck in. Did he today? No. I thought McTominay again a shit performance from McTominay. But not as bad as other players. I'll give him a 4.5. .5 from McTominay. Alanga, he worked hard. At the end of the day, Anthony Alanga just isn't good enough. At the start of this season, I said I wanted to see Alanga play more throughout this season, and he has. The only issue is, when I said that, I didn't mean he'd play week in, week out, because he's not at that level yet. I was more thinking sub appearances. When we're winning games, bring him on, and let's see him grow into a first team player. Like what we saw of, Phil Foden is a better player than Manchester United. Than Alanga. And yet he wasn't a guaranteed first team regular for Man City when he first broke through. And yet Alanga is already. At the end of the day, as a player, he's just not at the level yet. And maybe he never will be. But he's been thrown in at the deep end. He's doing his best. He's not sinking, but he's certainly not swimming. I'll give him a 6. Marcus Rashford, 2, 1, 1. No effort there. Is he injured? Who knows? But yeah, no effort levels at all there. No performance either. Just lazy. Reece James had the freedom of Manchester down that right-hand side or our left. And it's his man at the end of the day. And he hasn't tracked him at all. Came off. And I think he came off in the 60th, 70th minute. That was 17 minutes too long. He was dreadful. Don't know what's wrong with him. But his effort levels are on the floor. Performance levels are on the floor. And he doesn't deserve to be anywhere near that starting 11. Bruno Fernandes, not much better. 3. Not great, but not amazing. Not amazing, not great. Not dreadful. Like, Marcus Rashford levels dreadful. It's so frustrating when he gets the ball. We can keep the ball. And look, Juan Mata, when he came on, is a great example. Juan Mata should be starting over Bruno Fernandes at the moment. Realistically, Juan Mata keeps the ball better, was more creative than Bruno Fernandes in 15 minutes than Bruno was the whole game. He keeps the ball. You know what it's about. Bruno Fernandes, every time he gets the ball, just launches it long every time. And it's annoying because that's not how good teams play football. That's not how successful teams play football. That's not how you win Premier League titles. You win Premier League titles by having players like Juan Mata who will keep the ball, will dictate the play, will wait for opportunities to come, and will take them. Cristiano Ronaldo got his goal. I thought he played fairly well today. Cristiano Ronaldo will get a 7 for his goal. A few poor passes here and there. I think it was all right, really. But look, I think what's quite embarrassing, if you look at the play ratings there that I've given out, the players that come through the academy are kind of the lowest ones. McTominay 4.5, Rashford 1, Alanga is one of the lower ones with a 6. I just don't see how these academy players are meant to be. Look, the whole point of bringing academy players through is that they should be good enough, and B, they should especially care for the club and want to play for that badge. These players don't. Some of these. Marcus Rashford doesn't give a shit. McTominay's not good enough, and neither is Alanga, really. So, yeah, I mean, you look over to the bench. Juan Mata, I'm going to give a 7 to. Garnacho gets a 6. And Phil Jones will get a 6 as well. Ralph Ragnick, what are we going to give him? Ralph Ragnick can have a 6. Yeah, 6. Look, I think, what's your opinions on Jurgen Klopp signing a new contract? Depends what do you want from me? Do you want as a Manchester United fan? I fucking hate it because as a Liverpool fan, you'd be buzzing. As a football fan, for Liverpool, that's unbelievable business. Probably your most important signing for the next two years. Whoever you sign isn't going to be as big as a point. Well, keeping Klopp for another 2 years. As a Man United fan, I think it's a shit appointment because that's just going to lead to Liverpool being more successful and keeping up with the likes of Manchester City. And look, I mean, we don't really have the space. Right, if this is the bar. If this is the bar, this is where Liverpool are. Here. That's where Liverpool are. And that's where United need to get to. But with Klopp still there, while United are here. The United are here, Liverpool are here. With Klopp, this line is just going to go, whoop. It's just going to rise up here and then rise up here. Year and year. You're going to get better and better. And while United have to make up this gap, when you come here, we also then have to fill in that gap. And now Naby, Salah and Sadio and Bobby are most likely to get new contracts. I don't think Bobby Firmino is a particularly... I think you should probably look to sell Firmino. I think Jota's better than him at this point. I think he's an alright player. I don't think he's the player he was when you came second with 97 points. Or when you won the league. I don't think he's that level anymore. And I wouldn't if I was a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't care too much if Firmino got sold, because I think you've got players to replace him. Mane's playing down the centre now. Jota can. You got Diaz. You got Harvey Elliott coming through. What happened to Marcus Rashford? He's not good enough. I mean, you've been here for a while. I've said for a while Marcus Rashford isn't good enough. The difference is now, because those crap performances was covered up by a goal due to luck. And I said that a lot last season. We were lucky in a lot of games that and crap performances were covered up by a goal. We ain't getting that. We ain't being lucky anymore. And now these shit performances aren't being covered up with a goal. And people are turning on him and finally seeing the light and saying he is bad, and his form is gone. Man was even tracking back. Now I'll keep him so he can teach Fabio Cannavaro some stuff as well. But I think he's still class in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, he's still a good player. My point is more, I think you've got players that, I think both Jota and Mane are ahead of him in the pecking order for that starting position. And if you've got two players above in the pecking order, you're going to bring in Fabio Cannavaro to potentially play that role. I think probably Diaz can probably play there as well. I think you've got so many options to play there. If you can sell Bobby Firmino, and for a good price, I think you do. Yeah, I'm not saying Firmino's bad. I don't think he's at the level he was. I think if Bobby Firmino was still at the level he was 2 or 3 years ago, he would be the first choice player still. Or at least second choice over Jota. I don't think he is anymore. And that's why I would say if Liverpool can sell him on and get good money for him, it wouldn't be a bad option. Was a load of shit again. I don't think we were terrible. I mean, look, a lot of players, some players did play badly, but I think the job was there to defend, sit deep, and counter. That's what we did. I think we created some opportunities. Chelsea didn't have loads of great stuff. They had one or two early on. I don't think it was... Yeah, he was. And look, there's certainly areas of concern there still. But on the whole, I didn't think we were dreadful. I really didn't. Yeah, if the right offer came in, I would think about selling him. I think if Sancho was on the field, they would have had a better chance. Yeah. Here for the United, I haven't seen you for ages, mate. How are we? Yeah, I enjoyed it too. For those who don't know, on last Monday, I went on to a MUFC Talks. I'm awful at pronouncing the name. I'll put a link into... I'll try and find a link to the show that I was on. There we go. So yeah, so there's a link to the show I was on Monday. Check it out. Subscribe if you enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I mean, let me catch up on chat. Yeah, Bobby's class. Yeah, he is a class sub. I agree. It's just whether is he the first choice to come on off the bench, and if he's not, can you sell him for, let's say, 30-40 million, and you have Fabio Cannavaro from Fulham come in, fill that spot as the second choice sub, and have the money, where you can then look to improve elsewhere. Maybe a better backup right back than Nico Williams. Hope everything's good. Everything's good, mate. How are things with you? United are in the mud. I also want to say great goal from Cristiano. It was a fantastic goal. It comes from a bit of quality from Nemanja Matic, a player we are going to massively miss next season for me. We'd definitely love to have you back on. I would love to come back on, mate. I don't know if you're still doing you're doing your show this Monday, because that's when United play Brentford this Monday. So if you are still doing it, then I won't be able to come on this week. But next week, sure. 9 out of the 11 players should be starting it. I agree. De Gea, I would start. Lindelof, Varane would start. Matic would start. So that's 4. Ronaldo would start 5. I think you could argue Dalot and Telles. Well, yeah, no, definitely Dalot. 6. Maybe Telles for a 7. Whether or not, if McTominay is the only one playing, then obviously he has to play. But if Fred's available, I'd probably put him in. I would obviously, you have to kind of start a Elanga or a Rashford. If Sancho's back fit, of course, I'd probably start Elanga, drop Rashford again. Bruno, I would actually drop. For Mata, but apart from that, yeah. If you're the manager, how would you set the team in what formation? Well, I'll do that before I leave. Oh, well, actually, let me give man of the match first. My man of the match today, I'm actually Ronaldo, Matic. I'm going to give it to Varane. I thought Varane played well. Chelsea are a tough team, and I don't think Varane put a foot wrong. I was very impressed with Varane today. I'll give him man of the match. I don't think there's a clear man of the match. You could give it to Ronaldo for the goal, But I think Varane was an understated performance, but I think it was a good one, so I'll give him it. Right, 14. There we go. So the team I would play for the rest of the season, really, given the current injuries and whatever. So Sancho there. Fred there. Matic there. And that's the team I would start against Brentford. I mean, obviously, with the current team, I don't know if Wan-Bissaka will be back. I don't know if Sancho will. Well, I hope Sancho will be back, and that's why I've put him in there. If players are back, well, I mean, if Wan-Bissaka's back, I will say Wan-Bissaka's back. I'm putting Dalot at left back. And Wan-Bissaka at right back. Because I do like Wan-Bissaka. I thought Telles was okay today. I don't think he was amazing again. And I think Reece James was such a key pivotal figure in this game. And because he was a wing back, we put the blame at the winger because he's the one that really should be tracking him. And I think because of that, because of how Chelsea play, Telles didn't really have anyone. So at times, I think he could have done better against James. But I think the main person that should have been on James is Rashford. So we give him the kind of a bit of leeway. I don't think Telles is great. I think that's his best game for a while. And he got a 6. I think I would start Dalot and Wan-Bissaka. Both of them. Well, I thought Wan-Bissaka against Liverpool was more than... I think I gave him a 7. And that's against a quality team. Where for half of it, he played out of position. How would I set up next season? Look, I don't know how I'd set up next season, to be honest. It depends on transfers and stuff. We need a DM. I would argue we need a winger. Maybe even a centre-back. We need a lot of players next season. I don't know how it would line up. So I couldn't tell you. Right, anyway. That is going to be it from me today. If you have all enjoyed, please do hit that like button below. And subscribe if you are new and you haven't already. That would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, that's all. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one in a bit. Peace.